Meanwhile, Pakistan is hosting a guest today. Some of you may know her. Her name is Ilhan Omar. She is a US congresswoman with a well-known anti-India bias. Omar is reportedly flying all the way down to Pakistan. What's on her agenda? We are not sure. Reports say Omar will be meeting the Pakistani leadership. She will also be visiting Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Now, we have some questions for Congresswoman Omar. Will she condemn Pakistan's atrocities in Gilgit-Baltistan? Will she talk about the state of minorities in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir? If Omar's past record is anything to go by, the answer to these questions is a big no. On Twitter, Ilhan Omar brags about fighting for a more just world. But her view of the world seems to be colored with bias and religious linearity. In her view, the 9/11 attacks are quote-unquote some people doing something. In her dictionary, the massacre of Armenian Christians by the Turks is not a genocide. But India's rollout of the National Register of Citizens in Assam is reportedly the same as Myanmar's Rohingya genocide, according to her. Or some passengers singing Christian songs on a plane, anti-Muslim, according to her. Take a look at this video. Do you see anything wrong here? Ilhan Omar finds this conduct problematic. 2 days ago, she tweeted, and I'm quoting, "I think my family and I should have a prayer session next time I am on a plane. How do you think it will end?" Ilhan Omar is a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, but it seems her understanding of foreign affairs is unflattering, and so is her obsession with India. In 2019, Ilhan Omar accused India of hate crimes against Muslims. When India abrogated Article 370, this congresswoman had a problem then as well. She called for the restoration of quote-unquote democratic norms and religious freedom. She also had a lot to say against India's rollout of the NCR, or the National Register of Citizens in Assam. I'm quoting, "At what point do we question whether Prime Minister Modi shares our values, quote unquote?" This is what she asked. In 2019, she tweeted this Times article, "What's happening right now in India is tragic, quote unquote, particularly for the country's roughly 200 million Muslims." In 2021, Omar introduced a bill clubbing India along with China and Myanmar and accused New Delhi of atrocities against Muslims. A few days ago, Ilhan Omar was found pushing the Biden administration to quiz India on alleged human rights violations. Listen in to what Omar said.
Why has the Biden administration been so reluctant to criticize Modi's government on human rights? What will it take? How much does the Modi administration have to criminalize the act of being Muslim in India for us to say something? And I ask you again, what will it take for us to outwardly criticize the actions that the Modi administration is taking against its Muslim minorities in India?
Ilhan Omar is clearly not a fan of India or the Indian leadership, and she is entitled to her opinion. But it becomes a problem when a lawmaker abuses her position to push an agenda, or when she sells her anti-India agenda as human rights advocacy. Will Omar also raise human rights issues in Pakistan? Will she talk about the plight of those living in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir? Will Ilhan Omar talk about the plight of Shias in Pakistan, the plight of Hazaras, Ahmadiyas? Will Ilhan Omar shine light on Pakistan's blasphemy law, talk about how nearly 1,900 people have been charged under the archaic law since 1987? And while she is at that, Ilhan Omar could highlight the violence against women and girls in Pakistan, tell the world how nearly 1,000 women are killed because of quote-unquote honor every year. She could talk about forced conversions and child marriage in Pakistan. Now that will make her a true human rights advocate, an advocate for a just world. When Omar was elected to the House of Representatives in 2019, she was celebrated as a progressive lawmaker. Omar, after all, had made history. She was one of the first Muslim women to be elected to the House. She is also the first Somali American. Omar grew up in a refugee camp. Her election came with a promise of hope. There was so much that she could do with the mandate. There were so many real issues that she could raise, so many American issues that she could raise. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.